Did you know that some of the most successful people in history, from Albert Einstein to Eleanor Roosevelt, were introverts? It's true. We often think of charisma and extroversion as the keys to success, but the truth is that introverts have their own unique strengths that are just as valuable. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the world of introversion and uncover 12 surprising things that introverts excel at. We're talking about fundamental strengths that make introverts amazing friends, colleagues, leaders, and thinkers. So if you're an introvert, get ready to embrace your awesome. And if you're not, get ready to gain a whole new appreciation for the quiet powerhouses in your life. Okay, let's start with something that might seem obvious. Introverts are thinkers. Introverts are wired for deep, reflective thinking. They're the ones who like to really delve into complex issues, exploring every angle and nuance. This isn't just about being smart, though that can be a byproduct. It's about a genuine curiosity about the world and a need to understand things on a deeper level. Introverts are often drawn to fields like philosophy, science, and art, where they can really sink their teeth into big questions. While extroverts might gain energy from social interaction, introverts often find that too much external stimulation can be draining. They need that quiet time to reflect, to let their minds wander and make connections. And it's in those moments of quiet contemplation that some of the most brilliant ideas are born. So if you see an introvert lost in thought, don't interrupt them. In a world that often seems obsessed with being heard, introverts possess a superpower, the ability to truly listen. I'm talking about active, engaged listening, the kind where you're really trying to understand another person's perspective and feelings. Introverts are often naturally drawn to listening because, for them, conversation isn't always about filling the silence. They're comfortable with pauses and moments of reflection, allowing others the space to fully express themselves. This makes them incredible friends and confidants, because people feel truly heard and understood in their presence. There's no pressure to perform or put on a show. Introverts create a safe space for vulnerability and authenticity. Instead, they ask thoughtful questions, prompting deeper reflection and self-discovery. This ability to listen deeply is a rare and precious gift, and it's one of the things that makes introverts such special people to have in our lives. Here's a myth we need to bust right now. Introversion does not equal shyness or a lack of personality. In fact, many introverts possess a vibrant inner world brimming with creativity just waiting to be expressed. Think about it. If you're spending more time in your own head, exploring your thoughts and feelings, chances are you're going to come up with some pretty interesting ideas. This is why introverts often gravitate towards creative fields like writing, art, music, and design. They find joy in the process of bringing something new into the world, of translating their inner landscape into tangible forms. And because they're not always seeking external validation, they're free to experiment, to take risks, and to explore unconventional paths. Embrace your imagination, nurture your talents, and let your creativity shine. Chapter 4. The Focus Factor. How Introverts Get Things Done. In a world filled with distractions, introverts have a secret weapon, their incredible ability to focus. While others might get sidetracked by every ping, ring, or notification, introverts can hone in on a task and really get things done. This isn't just about willpower, it's about how their brains are wired. Introverts tend to have higher levels of cortical arousal, which means they're more sensitive to stimulation. While this might make them feel overwhelmed in chaotic environments, it also allows them to concentrate deeply when they're engaged in something that interests them. Introverts often find a sense of flow in their work, losing themselves in the challenge and satisfaction of a job well done. When they need to buckle down and focus, they have an inner reservoir of concentration that can be incredibly powerful. Chapter 5. Problem Solvers. Extraordinaire, the introvert's analytical mind. Introverts are natural problem solvers. It's not that they go looking for problems to fix, but they have a knack for analyzing situations, identifying patterns, and coming up with thoughtful solutions. Remember that deep thinking we talked about? Yeah, that comes in handy here. Introverts don't shy away from complexity. They often thrive when presented with a challenge that requires careful consideration and a nuanced approach. They're also less likely to jump to conclusions or make impulsive decisions. Instead, they take the time to gather information, weigh different perspectives, and think through the potential consequences. Chapter 6. The Empathy Advantage, Introverts and the Power of Understanding. In a world that often feels increasingly divided, empathy is more important than ever. And it just so happens that introverts are often deeply empathetic individuals. This might seem counterintuitive at first. After all, introverts aren't always the most outwardly expressive people. But their quiet nature often belies a deep well of compassion and understanding. Because they're so attuned to their own emotions, introverts tend to be more aware of the subtle cues and nonverbal signals that others might miss. This ability to understand and share the feelings of others is a powerful thing. Here's a word that often gets a bad rap: independence. We live in a culture that often celebrates extroversion, collaboration, and being part of a team. And while those are all wonderful things, there's also a lot to be said for the ability to be comfortable in your own company, to forge your own path, and to rely on yourself. Introverts are often naturally independent. This doesn't mean they're loners or that they don't enjoy spending time with others. It simply means they find solitude rejuvenating, and they're perfectly content to pursue their own interests and passions. This independence can be a source of great strength. It allows introverts to think for themselves, to challenge the status quo, and to forge their own unique identities. Have you ever noticed how introverts often seem to pick up on things that others miss? It's not magic, it's their superpower: observation. Introverts are incredibly observant, taking in the world around them with a keen eye for detail. While others might be caught up in the hustle and bustle, introverts are more likely to pause, to really look, and to listen. They notice the subtle shifts in mood, the unspoken cues in a conversation, the tiny details that make up the tapestry of life. This makes them fascinating conversationalists because they often have a unique perspective to offer. We've talked a lot about the power of introverted thought, but what about expressing those thoughts? While introverts might not always feel comfortable speaking up in a crowd, they often find their voice through the written word. Writing allows introverts to process their thoughts and feelings at their own pace, to carefully craft their message, and to revise and refine their ideas until they feel ready to share them with the world. It's a space where they can truly be themselves without the pressure of immediate response or judgment. The written word becomes a bridge between their inner world and the outside world, a way to connect with others on a deeper level and to share their unique perspectives and insights. Chapter 10. Planning Powerhouse, Introverts and the Art of Preparation. Let's be honest, the world needs planners. We need people who think ahead, who anticipate potential pitfalls, and who have a knack for organizing details. And guess what? Introverts often excel at all of those things. It's not that introverts are control freaks, though let's be real, some of us can be a tad particular. It's more that they find comfort in structure and predictability. They like to know what to expect, and they thrive in environments where they can plan ahead and minimize surprises. This makes them excellent organizers, project managers, and strategists. They're the ones who can see the big picture while also keeping track of the smallest details. Chapter 11. The Loyalty Factor, Introverts and the Bonds That Matter. In a world where relationships can sometimes feel fleeting and superficial, introverts offer something incredibly valuable: loyalty. Introverts don't collect friends like stamps. They form deep, meaningful connections with a select few people whom they trust and cherish. And once you've earned an introvert's loyalty, you've got a friend for life. They'll be there for you through thick and thin, offering a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, and a healthy dose of tough love when you need it most. They value authenticity and honesty in their relationships, and they're not afraid to be vulnerable and share their true selves with the people they care about. Chapter 12. The Innovation Engine, Introverts and the Power of Perspective. You might not always think of introverts as being the most innovative people, but here's the thing. Sometimes the best ideas come from those who take the time to observe, reflect, and challenge conventional wisdom. Introverts, with their unique perspectives and their willingness to think outside the box, can be incredible innovators. They're not afraid to go against the grain, to question assumptions, and to explore uncharted territory. Many groundbreaking inventions and ideas throughout history came from introverted minds who dared to dream differently. They weren't afraid to be different, to stand out from the crowd, and to pursue their visions with passion and determination. So, if you're an introvert with a head full of ideas, don't be afraid to share them with the world. So there you have it, 12 surprising things that introverts excel at. From deep thinking and creative problem solving to empathy, loyalty, and innovation, introverts bring a unique set of strengths to the table. These aren't just individual traits. They're qualities that enrich our relationships, our workplaces, and our world. Introverts remind us of the power of listening, of observation, of deep thought, and of forging our own paths. And if you want to dive even deeper into the world of introversion, be sure to check out my video on insert title of related video here.